Perky Planes and RC here, operating at 2.4 gigahertz, and got my trusty Pepsi today. So went and stopped and went to pick up a Diet Dew, and none of the Diet Dews in the cooler were cold enough. They must have just been put in or something. I don't know what it is. So Pepsi it is today. All right. Well, in some of my past videos that I've done featuring different flight test airplanes, such as the storage and the sea duck, a lot of those I actually showcased a lot more of the build process. And it seems like here in the more recent ones, the Mini Scout, the Tiny Trainer, the Bloody Baron, I think even the Simple Cub too, I really didn't showcase much of the build. I talked a little bit about it, but I really didn't show much of it. So we're going to change that up, especially for this particular airplane, the FT Edge. So, and there's a good reason for that. Now, most of the airplanes that Flitetest features on their channel, some of the early ones, they really had more of a boxier shape to them. There wasn't really a whole lot as far as the build process to really, that was very, there wasn't a whole lot that was really intricate, or really involved. So when the FT Edge came along, it sort of changed everything. If you look on Flitetest site now, you'll notice a lot more planes have some curves to them, have some sleekness to them, and I think the FT Edge was one of the first ones that really kind of brought out more of the sleekness and the sexiness of some of their airplanes. And I'll admit, whenever the FT Edge was first released on their YouTube channel, when the plans started coming out and everything, I just looked at this and was like, is that really made out of foam board? Because it just really doesn't seem like it. You know, it's like, you know, I was in disbelief on how slick it looked and how nice it looked and how curved it looked and everything. It's like I just couldn't picture that was actually still made out of foam board. It made me think that there was some other construction material they used to make it look that good. But sure enough, that plane is foam board. Once I'd seen that, I just kind of knew deep down that I really wanted to tackle the FT Edge, but I had a lot of other stuff going on at the time, and of course I still have a lot of stuff going on, at the time, that I really kind of put the FT Edge off. It was like, well, it looks great, it's slick, it's nice looking, but it's a very involved build, and you know, I'm thinking just making it more of a low priority airplane to build, and maybe eventually we'll tackle it. Well, the folks over at the Flitetest Forum really, they're a great group of guys and gals. There's some gals in there too that are really good for just encouraging people. They really want to encourage you to not make excuses. Just get out there and do it. You know, get out there and fly. Get out there and build this thing. Get out there and do this. And it was Mayan and Buzzbomb on the Flitetest Forums that really kind of brought this to light, and we're really encouraging people to give the FT Edge a try. And so, sure enough, that's where we are. So I kind of put it off, but their encouragement, their wonderful, kind words, and it pushed me to say, you know what, let's go ahead and try it. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's get started with this. And so here we are. This is what we got so far on the FT Edge. This, probably no other flight test airplane has this that I'm aware of right now. But the FT Edge has kind of like this big superstructure, this kind of internal structure thing that is kind of the basis for the airplane. Kind of like almost like a skeleton type of thing to it or something. And this is where a lot of the exterior pieces are going to be attached, kind of like giving it a skin, so to speak. So you'll have some foam board pieces that will kind of mold over all this and kind of give it that shape, that look that you see in the picture. But this is actually what's inside of it first. This is more, like I said, this is kind of the framework for it. And in my opinion, probably is the hardest part of the whole entire build process. Now, This is completely scratch built. This is not, Flitetest. I could easily go on there, order a speed build kit of the airplane where everything is cut out. But this was actually scratch built using white Adams foam board with the plans and just cutting out with a razor blade. And I also used a small hot wire cutter, this one right here. And that's what I used to more or less cut a lot of these pieces out, or cut a lot of these, a lot of the design out and the pieces and so on. And the hot wire cutter really helps a lot for some of these, like these holes right here, and these places right here, these little tab holes where things get inserted. So it really helped a lot for that. My 2 cents on the hot wire cutting part of it, it cuts the foam great. It doesn't play as nicely with the paper side of it, so the paper is not going to look great. But normally the foam part of it will be fine. So if you ever do that, you might run into that. So in some cases, you might decide to actually peel the paper off to kind of help with the look of it. But anyways, like I said, this is the start of the FT Edge. Like I said, this is kind of that main structure piece that everything is going to be attached to. So. And I think, like I said, it's one of the hardest parts of the build. From here on out, I think things are going to go a little smoother, a little bit easier. So we'll see how it goes. And I plan to document and share this experience with you guys here on YouTube. Like I said, it is a very different type of build from some of their other airplanes that have a little more of a boxier shape to them. Past videos, I didn't share as much of the build process, but for the FT Edge, where it's very much more involved and intricate and very detailed, we're going to be showing more of the build process with this and just showing you guys what all happens with it. I can probably honestly tell you that mine will not probably look as sleek as that, but we'll do the best we can. And we'll kind of, and we'll even share the flight and maiden experience as well. So you guys can kind of see that firsthand. Just a little funny thing here too that I've been doing. This is sort of like a key layout of all the different parts of the plans and how they all fit together and all that. Like here's like a wing piece here. Here's the other wing over here, and I've been marking these off as I go through the build video. I've been marking these off on which ones have been completed and put together, so that I know where my next step is going to be. So, like I said, a very involved build, especially for someone like myself who is doing this completely from scratch, directly from the plans, and not using the quicker speed build kit. Because honestly, I like challenges. I like to try to do a lot of scratch built stuff and try to at least attempt it myself, just to kind of see what happens. So. That's what we're going to be covering next here on the channel. Expect to see this FT Edge build process and flight and all that. Expect to see more of that here on the channel in the next upcoming videos, as well as other normal content type of stuff, more flights and other things as well. So hopefully this will help anybody out there that's building the FT Edge. I hope my experience does help anybody out there with it. If you have any questions on the FT Edge build process or anything, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. And that's all for this. So I thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.